Howdy, Dave here, Hidden Freedom Investing. In this video, we're going to go ahead and do an update on the video that I did back in March, around March 20th or so. I posted a video about my put options assigned minus $15,000. So, and the whole saga behind that. And if you haven't caught that video, I highly suggest taking a look at that video, because this video is following that video. So I'm going to kind of base everything off of that video. Let's bring up the Jerry cam here, and because Jerry likes to see my ugly mug. So we got the Jerry cam going over here, and let's go ahead and dig in. Let's go ahead and do a recap or an overview of the previous video real quick. So you can watch it if you want, but I'm going to kind of just give you a little bit of a highlight real quick on what's going on. So in February, on February 21st, 2020, I went ahead and sold to open 3 puts. Okay, so that means I sold premium. All right, one was on Apple with a strike of $2.95, and the expiration was February 28th, 2020. And I roughly got about 50 cents, so that was about $50 because you times it by 100 for one contract equals 100 shares. All right, and I also sold another one same day on Facebook, a strike price of $202.50, and that was a put as well. Expiration February 28th, 2020, for roughly about 50 cents as well, so a total of $50. And I sold one more, and that was on Microsoft at 170. That was a put as well, and expiration February 28th, 2020, and for roughly about 50 cents. So, in total, I sold those 3 cash secured puts instead of, I won't call them naked puts, but because I actually had the money in the account. So cash secured puts there, I sold on all 3 of those companies all at the same time, all the same day, for basically about $150 that I received in premium. So on basically I'd say another day or so after that, that's when we had that big old market decline, that whole weekly decline that broke a market record. And at this point, these options were like 1,000% in the money. So I was down, I don't know, it was like a couple $1,000 just if I wanted to buy them back. So why was I going to buy them back? I was in some really good strikes at this point. The strikes I felt like were pretty safe, and they were in jeopardy of being in the money, and we had, eventually they ended up being in the money, but that's neither near here or there. So I did get assigned those positions, all 3 of them. Over the weekend of February 28th, I think the 28th was a Friday, so that Friday night over the weekend, I got assigned all 3 positions: 100 shares in Apple, 100 shares of Facebook, and 100 shares of Microsoft. And that pretty much took about $70-something thousand of my account. I think I had a balance of about $76,000 in there. I think I took up about $75,000 if I'm not mistaken, and pretty much just got assigned in. It is what it is. If you want to see the whole story behind that, watch the video, because I kind of talk about that it's pretty rare that we're gonna have a 30-something% decline. So we're at 52-week highs when I sold these when I sold these cash secured puts. Wasn't expecting a 30-something decline, and by the time March 20th ran around, I think March 23rd was the low in the market and that we've had, and that was about 37%. So March 20th, here's a screenshot of that, and March basically 20th, you can see that I was down over $15,000 in these 3 positions alone. And I talk about it in the video and how I'm going to come back from that and sell covered calls. And I was kind of down 22% in some of the positions, 16 and 22%. So covered calls was even tough at the point, but I did sell some calls right when I got assigned, and collected pretty good money on that. But so $15,000 is down, and then basically, so March 20th, at that point I was already up over $1,850 on the account for the whole, up into that point. So that's 3.5 months in, up over $1,850 by just selling some cash secured puts basically for 3.5 months. And then until this whole saga broke out, and then got assigned, and then it kind of wrecked the whole strategy. So but we'll talk about that later at the end of this video. We'll talk about a little bit of the lessons learned here, and kind of the thing I'm going to be doing forward, kind of changing. So so here we are basically on, let's kind of talk about how I got out of these. I talked about in the video that I was gonna pretty much just sell covered calls until I got out, kind of wait around until I got out. Even if it took a year, I was going to turn lemons into lemonade, right? So, and then after we get done turning some lemons into lemonade, we'll drink some mojitos, right? So, kick back on the beach. So what we did here is I didn't really sell a lot of covered calls, because it was just down too much. I was gonna, my second backup strategy was I was gonna deposit more money and average down, or even maybe sell another cash secured put by depositing some more money in the account, sell some more cash secured puts to get in to average down. I was gonna pick Microsoft because I felt like it was the strongest stock. But I didn't end up having to do that. So what I ended up having to do is just wait it out a little bit. So here we are on basically April 7th, 2020. I was able to sell Microsoft, all right, so for a gain of $53 on just capital appreciation. And that was basically a hold of 39 days from when it got assigned. So that officially was out of Microsoft at that point. So all right, well, Microsoft's a pretty strong stock. I'm already out of it, and that's 39 days later. So I did the same thing on Apple, just waited it out, and then sold that one on April 16th, 2020, and made $74, and that was a 48-day hold. All right, so, and then the last one I had to get out of at that point was Facebook. And I sold that one on April 29th, 2020 for a gain of $154. And that was a 61-day hold. Now, if you don't recall, or in case you don't recall, Facebook had earnings on the 29th, all right? So, and that was kind of my whole strategy was I knew that these stocks would kind of come up. These are solid companies, by the way. I knew they'd kind of come up prior to earnings, and I was gonna kind of bank on that to sell some covered calls. But if I sold a covered call, I might get stuck on it, right? So I made the choice not to sell the covered call because I didn't want to get stuck in case it did go above the strike and then kind of sold off before it expired, right? So I kind of would have gotten screwed, right? So I just made the choice not to sell the covered call, to kind of just wait it out just in case it can come up before and I can just get out of it. So, and that's exactly what happened on Facebook. Facebook had earnings on the 29th, and I was not basically even or broke even before earnings came out. Earnings came out and the stock went up above 202.50, which was my average price, right? Because that's what I got assigned the price at, or assigned the stock at. So I was able to, I think it went up to like 212 or something like that. And I didn't sell it for big of a gain, just slightly above 202.50, made $154 on it. So in a 61-day hold. At that point, I was officially out of every single one of those positions that I got assigned back in February. So, and since then, so that was April 29th, and since then I went ahead and basically started the whole process over again, and I've picked pretty much Microsoft. And we're going to talk about the lessons learned here in just 1 second. So I picked Microsoft as the stock that I will probably be going forward on the wheel strategy. So if you're not familiar with the wheel strategy, go ahead and just Google that. Maybe I'll do a video on it too. I had not even heard the wheel strategy. I've been pretty much doing the wheel strategy for years and didn't even know what it was called. But so what we did is we went ahead and started selling basically some cash secured puts on Microsoft again. I try to do it on down days, of course, because you can get a little bit wider and you get some, pretty much a little bit more premium out of it too, but I'm pretty much just shooting for about $50 to $100, so that means 50 cents to about $1 per contract. So this is a screenshot from today, and today is May 18th. So that is an active cash secured put that I have at 172.50 for Microsoft, and now I thought last week it was going to be in jeopardy of being in the money. I was like, oh great, I'm already going to be assigned already. But we had a big update today, so here we're already up 66% on that. That's going to most likely expire worthless for that other dude that bought that, or whoever bought it, he or she, and I'm going to basically pocket that $50. And we'll start the whole process over again. Hopefully I'll get a down day to do that. But honestly, when it comes to Microsoft, I really wanted to get about 170 or below. What 172.50 is about is, if all I had to do is wait 1 or 2 days, and I could have been probably got over $100 for the contract. But that's just the way it is. Sometimes you wait, and you just play the game, and you're just not going to get the decline, right? You're not going to get that premium, so you got to either go out further in time. I like to try to stick with weeklies if I can, but I'm happy with $50. I try to aim to make anywhere from $200 to $500 a month. So let's go ahead and look at the actual income for the year. So we are looking here at the basically this is May 12th. This is a statement from Interactive Brokers. And there's the 3 positions that I got out of. There's the actual capital gains I made from all 3 of those, from selling those stocks. Now, honestly, I was not trying to get out of those stocks with a gain or anything like that. I just wanted to get out, broke even, or plus. Had I held Facebook to 212, I would have been up, $500-600. But I wanted to get out of the stock, right? So it is what it is. To me, it's that I made some capital gains off it, but that was not the ultimate goal of being assigned those stocks. So really my goal is to just try to make money off of the cash secured put. So these are all of the basically all the calls and the puts. And I only sell premium pretty much. I pretty much never buy premium at all. It's gambling in my opinion. And people will probably argue against that all day long, but to me it's gambling. There's too many things you got to get right. You got to get the direction right, you got to get the timing right, you got to get the stock right, and you got to have all that right at the same time. So what we got here is this is all of the positions or all the trades I made basically year to date up to May 12th here. So most of them are all puts there. So because the covered calls are the only one I got assigned the positions. So I didn't do a lot of those because I wanted to get out of the stock, so I didn't want to lock in. But I did make pretty good money doing those covered calls right when I got assigned. Look at that there, $526 just for that 1 week there. So and then I did a couple on one on Tesla there. I don't really mess around with one on IBM, but a couple on not Bank of America, Boeing. That's Boeing. Shoot. So Boeing, when it got down, look at that, 320. What's Boeing right now? 130. So I got pretty lucky on those that they didn't get assigned, and because that was back in January or February or something like that. So that's why I stick to weeklies. If you go a month out, yeah, you can make more money, but you're just going to be sitting around and you're never going to know what's going to happen, right? So right now we're just starting the process over again, and we're all in Microsoft. So right now I'm up $2,488. Now there is $75,000 in this account, so that is about a little 3.3% return. I probably take about $20,000 out and move it over to the dividend portfolio. But my goal really is to make about $4,000 to $5,000 a year in this account. Really about 4%, because try to make 4% with dividends is pretty easy. So if I can make that with just some cash secured puts, then I'm going to go ahead and do that because I feel like it's less riskier. So all right, well, what are the lessons that I learned? So the lessons that I learned are, I'm not going to probably go into 3 different companies all at the same time. So what I'll probably end up doing is drawing this count down to about $50,000, so that'll give me roughly, and I'll probably stick to Microsoft. I feel like Microsoft is a stronger stock than Facebook. I feel like it's a stronger stock than Apple. Now those are great companies, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Microsoft is a better stock. It's more resilient, especially with what this, pandemic that we just had. The stock really was, really resilient. So I think I'll stick to Microsoft, one stock. So we'll probably end up keeping about $50,000 to $55,000 in this account. That way we can basically buy, average down into Microsoft 3 times if we need to by using cash secured puts. And that'll give us, we'll get into it, say at 170, right? That's 17,000. So if we get it signed, then it goes to 130, then we can sell another cash secured put down at 130, 135 and average down, and then sell covered calls until we get out of it, collect the dividends while we wait if we need to. But so honestly, I'm usually pretty conservative with my strikes. I'm not trying to get a large amount of premium out of them. So, and I try to sell on down days. So that's a lesson right there. And that's, I've known that lesson for years. Try to sell it on down days, get a little bit wider, plus get a little more for the premium. So that is the strategy. Those are the lessons learned basically. One stock, and we'll concentrate just on that one stock. If we get assigned, we'll go ahead and average it down with another cash secured put, then sell a call. So we may not even need to do another cash secured put. If we get assigned at 170, it might just drop to 165. We'll just sell a covered call, and it might just come back up to 170, go to 175, and then we'll sell it at 170 or 175. So the $50,000 gives me an opportunity just in case the stock keeps declining, which most likely it won't. So those are the lessons learned. If you have any questions about this strategy, it's called the wheel strategy. And you really, in my opinion, you really want to stick to really quality names. And I'm sticking to like the largest company in the world here, right? $1.3 trillion company. So, and backup ones, I would do a Google, or I would do, Facebook or an Apple, but I decided to do it on Microsoft. It pays a dividend. So if you have any questions, you can contact me on Facebook, you can contact me on Instagram, you can contact me on Twitter. You can go ahead and leave a comment below. I'm also on Discord as well, if you want to hit me up there as well. So you can ask me any questions about this strategy, but we are officially out. We've made almost $2,500 year to date. So we'll go ahead and continue on selling some cash secured puts, keep bringing in that money. If anything changes, I'll go ahead and update you. And I'm going to be probably doing some more videos in the future on options because it will be part of my dividend portfolio, doing cash, doing covered calls on against my dividend positions as well. This kind of is more of a play account. I like to just generate $4,000 to $5,000 and have a very low risk. So let's go ahead and end this video. And I do appreciate y'all watching. So Jerry, this camera, video, whatever you want to call it, the face cam was just for you. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.